Got Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com.
What a first period. One of the most fun, entertaining, physical, action-filled first periods I've seen in a long time. That was fantastic. Oilers win 3-0, get the 3-1 series lead over the Vegas Golden Knights heading into Game 5 on Wednesday. That first period was nuts. The show is brought to you by our good buddies at Play Alberta, where it's always game time. Bet on sports, find your new favorite slot, hit the tables. Play on a virtual table with a live dealer, grab your lottery tickets, and do it all safely with responsible gambling tools that help keep you safe. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with code GYB05. Visit playalberta.ca. What a night of hockey. That first period was insane. The rink was absolutely rocking. Both teams are bringing it. Tonight, I find myself comfortably sitting in the studio, Adrenaline Diesel studio. Now with an online store for all your diesel truck part needs, check out adrenalinediesel.ca. We've got all your friends tonight. We've got Zoobs with us. We've got Roberto Brown join us as well. Rishaug will join us after his TSN duties wrap up. But we'll start with you, Zuby. That first period, I'll tell you, I couldn't get enough. My kids and I were glued to the TV watching this Rock'em Sock'em battle.
It was a banger. It had everything, man. And as I tweeted, we had Adin Hill going full Hanrahan from Slapshot, and he didn't even get a penalty for that. But yeah, it was wild. It had everything, and so much fun to watch, and great for Oilers fans, for them to come out to donut on the right side of that wild first period.
Brownie, what was it like in the building tonight, buddy?
It was loud. It was loud. The Oilers needed a good first. They needed to come out with some emotion, some energy. And I think they actually shocked the Vegas Golden Knights at how emotional it was. And then every time there was a hit, the place would explode, and then a punch, and they'd explode. And then they'd run over the goaltender, and it got louder in there. I agree. That was as entertaining a 20 minutes of hockey as you are going to see. And the crowd, they just got energized every time something silly happened. It was a party atmosphere in Edmonton for the first 20 minutes of that hockey game. You just didn't want it to end. The only ones that wanted the first period to end were the Vegas Golden Knights. They could not get out of that first period quick enough.
Guys, I think it was the second period of Carolina and Washington. And it's not very exciting. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not that exciting. So I was kind of coming into this game a little bit flat. I expected the defense to be the team defense to be much improved. And then also it comes out like that. I snapped out of it. I didn't even have a tea tonight, guys. That's how high off this game I got early. It did slow down a little bit later, but we'll get into all that. So we got myself, Shoggers coming in a little bit, Rob Brown's here, Zuby, and you. We've got a great stream already. Tell a friend and get your questions in for Ask Us Anything at the end, but we've got a jam-packed show. So let's get into it as we get into the breakdown here, guys. Brought to you by Alberta Ram Dealers. Ram trucks continue to deliver with power, style, and innovation. The 2025 Ram 1500 features a bold new powertrain, a redesigned exterior, and a state-of-the-art technology. Check out the most awarded light-duty truck ever. See your Ram dealer today. Okay, guys, I think the place to start was the new lines. So we kind of saw them come out, and these were the lines if you didn't get a chance to see the game. Nugent, Hopkins, McDavid, and Hyman. Seen that one before. Podkol's in, Leon. Kapanen comes in for Arvidsson. He's out. We've seen that line before. Then he had Kane, Henrique, and obviously Connor Brown. We've seen that line at some point in the playoffs. And then Frederick and Janmark, and of course Corey Perry, who was arguably the best player for the Oilers last game and finds himself in the fourth line. So right out of the gate, you can see what they're looking for. They're looking for some speed, some skill, some toughness on every line. So they kind of rejigged them. She also mentioned Stetcher went in for Emberson. But Brownie, these lines to me were led tonight by Henrique, Kane, and Brown. They get the goal scoring early, and they were relentless, especially Kane, the whole first period and the rest of the game.
They were by far the Oilers' best line, and it wasn't even close. I thought Connor's line had some moments, but quiet. Kapanen was loud in his play with Leon, but really that line didn't scare the Vegas Golden Knights offensively. I'm not sure that line is going to stay together. But the Henrique, Kane, and Brown line, were they ever good? I mean, they were physical. They were tenacious. They were fast. The Vegas Golden Knights had no answer for them. And we've seen it a few times in this series on face-offs that the Oilers lose, yet they create scoring chances on it because a Brown or a Kane beats his man and gets to the defenseman at the same time the puck is there, not giving the Vegas Golden Knights any time to make a play. And that's what we saw on the first goal, is just Brown winning a battle and getting to the puck and forcing the turnover. So that line was sensational. And what you have on that line, Strud, you got speed, you got toughness, you got skill, but you have a veteran presence. There's nothing too big. The game's not too big for that line. There's nothing that they haven't seen before. And I just think that was a very productive line. And I think it was smart having Knobloch together, because that's a line that you could throw out against anyone on the opposition in any situation and feel completely comfortable that they are going to get at least break even, if not get the better of the line they're playing against.
We had no idea what Evander Kane was going to bring in these playoffs. I mean, I don't know, maybe he knew. But here he is sitting, he had a goal and assist, +3, a penalty, and in 13 minutes, he had 4 shots and 6 hits and a face-off 1. That is a high event 13 minutes, Brownie, for anyone. And he was all over it. So the first goal they score, obviously it's, completely by himself, Henrique in front. The second goal, it's a hardworking goal. The puck finds its way from Kane, from the goal line up to Kane. He kind of knocks it around a bit. Henrique corrals it and nails it into that. But while that's happening, he gets cross-checked. Kane being the one, gets cross-checked into Adin Hill. And he just, I think it was I'm not sure if it was a body slam or if it was like a pancake slam, but he just flattens them, jump up, and all hell breaks loose. This guy was everywhere and in every little scrum that there was tonight.
Well, it's funny. I know that Bob said it was a big cross-check. Kane, there's nothing Kane could do. That was one of those accidental on purpose. As soon as Kane felt a stick on his back, he was going to Superman on top of Hill. There was 100% certainty that he was going to end up on top of Hill. And he knew as soon as he did it that the Knights were going to be coming for him, because he got up looking, he was prepared. Who am I fighting here? He had his helmet off. Adin Hill was going crazy. It was funny. You felt sorry. Adam Henrique was doing one of the best celebrations ever, and he didn't get to finish his celebration because he turns around and everyone's going haywire on the other side. And what was lost in all of that, like before we get on to Kane, what was lost in all of that was the goal that Henrique scored. Like, that was unbelievable. It was between the legs, top shelf. We see Matthew Tkachuk do it a lot when he was with the Flames. That was just pure beauty by Henrique, pure chaos by Kane, and that line was like that all night long.
They were unbelievable. Now, I'm going to say this for anyone listening. When you knock a goalie over and a goalie comes at you, you stand in there and you fight the goalie. You don't peel off. Now, to be fair, Kane, there was a lot of guys coming at him. But when a goalie comes at you, you don't look for someone else. That's the guy. That's the guy you want to get into it with. So pretty awesome. And there's a fight that actually evolved out of that. Haig, who's a monster, took on Trent Frederick, who's a big guy. And that was one of those fights. I thought both guys were a little sluggish when they came back. A long fight like that, you are so tired. you feel like you want to have a 20-minute penalty just to sit in the box and recover. What a heavyweight tilt that was.
It was, Struds, and that affected the Vegas Golden Knights more than it affected the Oilers, because Henrique only plays 7-8 minutes a night. Haig's a good defenseman that plays, 18, 20 minutes. And as you said, the fight took a lot out of him. That fight went on forever. And this is what I love. I love about fighters. I think I've got, 13 or 15 fights in my career in the NHL. And every time I fought, it's because I hated the guy that I was fighting. I was angry because I don't like fighting. So if I'm fighting that guy, I'm mad. I will do anything. I love fighters. At the end of the fight, they both say, okay, you done? I'm done. Good job. That was a really good tilt. And then it almost looked like Frederick on the way to the penalty box stopped to say one more time, that was a good tilt, eh? I'm like, how can you fight that kind of, that was as good a fight as you're going to see. Yet for them to have the respect for each other to be able to say, you know what, good on you. Yeah, you too. So good fight, long fight that just set the tone for a fun night for the fans in the stand at Rogers.
Let's go into the Weiss Johnson sound box here. And the theme of the first period for sure was the physicality. Let's hear from one of the guys who was the guiding light physically for the Oilers, Evander Kane, what he thought about the physicality tonight.
Yeah, I think, it drags our team into a bit of a fight early. I think, we obviously want to have a good start. It gets our crowd involved. It gets everybody feeling good. And, from a hockey's perspective, it wears other teams down, and it keeps guys on their toes out there. And I think we got some turnovers off of that. We were able to create some offensive opportunities, and, we didn't take our foot off the gas, which was good.
Yeah, it was tonight. I feel like Brownie, if the Oilers decided they were going to come out and they were going to bully Vegas or match their bulliness, right? They came out and everyone is Kapanen had some big hits. We had guys all over the place throwing hits, getting in scrums. They were all over Adin Hill, all over him in the first period. I didn't like the call, Adin, that were in Janmark. I think he got tripped by Adin Hill, and Hill sold it, so good for him. But you could tell Hill was distracted by the way they're getting to him and how physical the Oilers were on their team.
Well, it's funny. In game number 3, the Vegas Golden Knights never faced any forechecking the entire night. Every time they got the puck in their own zone, like Hill would pass it to a D-man, he'd get it to a winger, and they'd come out. They had all the time and space that they needed. And any player in the NHL with time and space is going to make good plays. I think tonight the Oilers just said, take away their time and space. Finish every check. And even if it's 2 seconds late, get in there. And I don't care who you are, you finish the check. And tonight, I don't think the Golden Knights, A, were prepared for it, B, were expecting it, and they had no time or space to make plays. And they turned the puck over time and time again. And it was all of their players. Pietrangelo is a Team Canada defenseman. He turned the puck over a number of times because when you pressure someone, you have time to think, where do I go with the puck? And you just throw it somewhere, usually to protect yourself from getting run through the boards. And it was everyone. And you love what Kapanen coming out of the press box. Podkolzin finished every check. Janmark. It was from top to bottom. And the Vegas Golden Knights had no answer. Seriously, all they wanted to do was survive that first period. And unlike last game where they were able to get a goal to at least take away some of the pressure, they weren't. So they went into that first intermission down 2-0 and probably lucky it wasn't 3 or 4.
Whoa!
I see it. We're over 1,000 already here on the stream, only a few 14 short minutes in. So thanks everybody for joining us.
Good.
There's people want to make sure we don't forget the jingle the next time we go to the sound box, Stretty.
No, I haven't. I didn't read it. I trust me. I got it on my to-do list here.
I'm just keeping everybody level-headed in the chat.
I don't want any problems tonight. I want it smooth and steady. And tune in. We have tons of people. Give us a thumbs up. Let's try to bang out those thumbs up here in the next few minutes. So obviously, Brownie, one huge part of this was the physicality. The Oilers were very physical, and it showed, as you mentioned, on the forecheck. I think another item we have to talk about is Stu Skinner. He got in there for his second game. I know across the city, there are a lot of questions about him, about how he's going to play. I thought he looked calm and cool and collected, like the team in front of him did tonight. He had a night that he resulted in a shutout, and he earned the shutout tonight. It wasn't given to him.
I agree. And I'm not on social media, but from talking to my buddies, Stuart Skinner would probably be the most popular name on Edmonton social media today, and not always in a positive light. It wasn't a busy night. And we talked the other night how Adin Hill struggled in games 1 and 2. And in game 3, the Vegas Golden Knights played a fantastic game in front of them and just limited the chances. And when Hill, he wasn't called upon a lot and had a good night. Well, the same thing happened tonight. This was a much better defensive effort by the Oilers in front of Skinner. Having said that, in the first 5 to 7 minutes, it was hectic out there. There was chaos. And the Oilers did give up a couple really good looks. Mm-hmm. One was a breakaway. Barbashev had a breakaway. Skinner turned that aside, made it look easy. And then there was a really nice play by Shea Theodore, slap pass at Braden McNabb driving the net beside the net. And he got all of it. He tipped it just like he wanted to. And again, Skinner brought that in, no rebound. So it wasn't as though Skinner had to make 15 grade A saves, but he made the saves he needed to, and then he gave them 2 other saves that he had to have for them to keep the game at 2-0. So Skinner, it's funny, we got a phone call on our show tonight, and they said, if Calvin Pickard is able to play next game, would you play him? Well, Calvin Pickard's not able to, and he won't play in this series. I don't know after that, but he won't play in this series. But if he was able to play, they wouldn't be pulling Stuart Skinner after that effort. Skinner would have had the net no matter what. He played well tonight. He played confident tonight. And the first thing that when Connor Brown was interviewed after the game on our radio station, first person he talked about was Stuart Skinner. So that was a big game for him, big game for the team, and also a big game for all the fans out there who had trepidation when they heard that Stuart Skinner was going to be playing the remainder of this series.
Well, let's go back in the digital soundbox, brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. Weiss Johnson's proud to host their annual golf tournament in support of the Edmonton Down Syndrome Society on June 3rd at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. And they'd love to see you there. All proceeds directly support the Society's efforts to meet the evolving needs of the Down syndrome community. To purchase your tickets and to help build a more inclusive and supportive future for the Down syndrome community, email info@weissjohnson.com. Hit it. Let it rock.
Weiss Johnson, whoa. We're proud to be local and family.
There it is, people. Everyone's cheery when they hear that jingle. Let's hear from Adam Henrique on his thoughts on Stu Skinner.
This is one also, Struddy, just that came at the end. And they kind of doubled back. Rico had a longer thought on Stu that was really good. So here he is.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see him come out of that and just be him. There's pressure. We all face pressure, but to be a number one goalie in a market like this, and there's probably extra pressure. And it comes from all angles, I'm sure. And to see him, struggle and Picks goes in, plays great, and we get on a run, and then, we got to be ready. And he did his job, when he wasn't playing. You could see him in the room every day working. And, I'm not in their meetings, but I don't think he changed anything in his game. You just work on what you need to work on to be ready when you need to be ready. And sure enough, comes along an injury, you're right back in there. So, again, it's just another guy being plugged right back into the lineup where you can't skip a beat. So, I think the mental aspect of being a number one goalie is probably above and beyond any other position, and he does a great job with that.
Yeah, listen, I think that they understand it's hard. Like, it's hard being the starting goalie and not playing. And I think that Henrique's been around long enough to kind of let people know how he thinks Skinner's feeling and how the team's feeling about him. And they want their teammates to have success. Like, they're not hoping he has a bad game so Pickard can get back in there. I've never, I guess I shouldn't say, I guess it's possible, but I don't, that's not the case here for sure. They like each other. Skinner's talked about his relationship with Pickard. So this was a huge thing. And I think for confidence-wise for Skinner, the teammates believing him, and more importantly, he believing in himself, that he is this guy. Because we've seen this guy, Brownie, for long stretches, but not much this year.
No, and this is why when I get asked a lot, can the Oilers win the Stanley Cup with Stuart Skinner? I say yes, because he took them to within one game last year and was fantastic in that Game 7. So if Skinner's the goalie the rest of the season, if Pickard doesn't get back in there, I have faith that Skinner can get it done. I do. And he needs to get his swagger back, and I think he got some of that tonight. He looked good. He looked confident, and that is everything for any hockey player, but more importantly, that for a goaltender. He has to look confident. I thought Stuart Skinner looked very confident in this game.
We got Ryan Rishaug here.
Yep. What's going on,
There
boys?
he is. Welcome, buddy. We're about 20 minutes deep here. We've kind of talked about the change in the lines, the physicality from Kane and the rest of the team, and now Stuart Skinner. Are there any one of those three things that you want to chime in on, your big guy?
Well, listen, not to come in here and produce the show, but if we're getting close to the end of the first segment and we still have to do Relentless Player, a big piece of what I have to say tonight probably applies to Relentless Player. So why don't we do that, and I'll pick it tonight, Struds, because I got something I got to say about a particular member of this crew.
Okay, let's do it. I'm going to get into it here. The Relentless Player, brought to you by You Can Use Services, an Edmonton charity that is relentless in providing possibility for the youth in our community. Mental health is the foundation for growth and success, and the key to thriving, not just surviving. With 2 in-house counselors providing free therapy sessions, our youth have support while they navigate their struggles and rediscover their strength. Visit youcan.ca to donate today, and apparently Schauger is taking it over. Here we go.
Taking Relentless Player today. So I'm giving it to Chris Knobloch. He made a bunch of really good decisions, and all of them worked, but there's one in particular I want to focus on, you guys. So Leon Draisaitl had a tough game last game. We all expected him to bounce back. We all pretty much knew that would happen. Chris Knobloch was brilliant with the way he harnessed the best of Leon Draisaitl tonight. So he didn't say, here's Connor McDavid, go get a bunch of points back. He didn't say, here's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Evander Kane, go be a top 6 line. That's not what he did. He gave him 2 hard-charging, fast-skating, hard-hitting fourth-line wingers and said, go shut down Jack Eichel. It was a hard match all night long on a line that he tailor-made, where the message was clear. Win that matchup. Defensive details. He harnessed Leon Draisaitl's defensive conscience. He harnessed Leon Draisaitl's competitiveness. There's no way he was going to want to lose that matchup. He hard matched him. Eichel didn't have an even strength shot on net tonight. I thought that was a stroke of genius from Chris Knobloch, the way he harnessed Leon Draisaitl in a bounce-back performance to accomplish a really important task, guys.
Brownie?
Sure. I still, that's not the line I have Leon Draisaitl playing with. Now, it worked out, but I don't know if the Oilers won this game on the back of that line. They won this game on the back of Kane and Henrique's line. And great penalty killing. I'm not sure I am fully onto that, but I like what your thought process is.
I love you, Brownie. I love you. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, listen, I mean, Brownie, I get it. He's coming from the offensive side. He'd rather, win 8-7 than 2-1, right? Like that's fair. I get it. I love the 2-1 games. But I do think that when you look at kind of what the role that Matthews has with the Leafs going against Barkov most of the time, I think it's a similar role. And I think it changed the dynamic a bit up because that third line was so good for the Oilers with Henry, Kane, and Brown. If you give Kane and Brown to Draisaitl, that's the same look. Can they do the same thing? So I think it was, clear that they're like, hey, we just need you to solve this bad boy off. And I'll be interested to see if they keep that going forward, because that was probably Jack Eichel's, not probably, it was his weakest game of the four of this, or I guess four. Yeah, four of the series, guys.
But Draisaitl was all
I
over
agree
it,
with that.
Struds, defensively. He was the high forward. He was back checking. He was stopping and starting in his own end. My point here is, and it's not as flashy as Kane, and it's not as flashy as Skinner. My point here is, they asked Leon Draisaitl to get back. They gave him an assignment that forced him to get back to parts of his game that he had strayed too far from. And that was attention to detail, defensive consciousness, taking some pride in that part of his game. They gave him no choice tonight. With those wingers and that assignment, they gave him no choice. And I think that was really, really smart. And for them to have won that matchup, or at least sawed it off, was a huge swing in this game, because then everybody else got to do their thing.
Well, makes sense, guys. Makes sense. Okay, we'll get to more of that. I got quite a few other details I want to get down into as we move on to takeaways for this game. Core adjustments coming up as well. What changes could we see? So let's just step out right now. When we come back, we'll get into our poll. We have a great stream. Thanks for tuning in. Give us a thumbs up. Bump that thumbs up a few times. We'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
Choosing the right health and dental coverage can feel overwhelming, but Alberta Blue Cross is here to make it simple. Their user-friendly website features a free quote tool to guide you through choosing your plan, or you can chat directly with one of their specialists for personalized help. Every plan includes access to personal, nutritional, and financial counseling at no extra cost. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/personal to learn more.
Let's keep this rolling. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We got all the boys here. Let's get to takeaways, brought to you by Martin Motorsports. Summer is around the corner, and why not make this year a Sea-Doo summer? Whether you're fishing, wave jumping, or just cruising on the water with friends, Sea-Doo lets you ride your way. The water's summoning. Answer the call with Martin Motorsports. Visit them at their 2 Edmonton locations or view their Sea-Doo inventory online at martinmotorsports.ca. Guys, 2 key penalty kills at the end of the first period. And I thought the penalty kill tonight looked really good. I thought they were more, they were playing more on their toes. They're all going. When one guy went, they were all going. And so that leads to more aggressiveness, Brownie.
It does. And the way that the Oilers played 5-on-5, the only way that the Knights were going to get back in this game was by scoring a power play goal. Because 5-on-5, they weren't getting any chances. And then you throw in the fact that all of the Golden Knights' best players are on their power play. And when you get frustrated on your power play, and they did, you could see them leaving the ice. They were frustrated. When you get frustrated on your power play, it bleeds into your 5-on-5 game. And you could see them going to the bench, shaking their heads. Like there's times where you have a power play, you don't score, but you had a bunch of good looks. It was a big save or that, guy tipped out the last second. They were getting nothing. They just continued to have to go back, pick up the puck behind their own net. A couple of the times they struggled to get out of their own zone. They looked confused at times. And that was because the Oilers were so aggressive. But when you are aggressive, Struds, you know it has to be in sync. If one guy's aggressive and someone misses an assignment, all of a sudden they've got a wide open shot. So The Oilers' penalty killing unit, which probably that gets overlooked in a game like this, but their penalty killing unit not giving a sniff to the Vegas Golden Knights in the first period went a long way in them winning this game.
Yeah,
You know,
more
and-
97 and 18 on the kill too. Hey, Struds. I don't have the stats in front of me, but they're getting some looks out there. And then the other piece of that is just Stuart Skinner making some saves, man. Like when your penalty kill gets some saves, and their best opportunities are met with a square goaltender ready to take the challenge, it's just such a big swing. So I think it was a lot better, but I think Skinner had something to do with that.
He did. He looked confident. And 5-on-4 boys are shorthanded as well as 5-on-5, especially the last bit. The Oilers' sticks were so dialed in. Their sticks were in the way. It looked like everybody had their stick taken away a passing lane, and that's so much harder than what they've. They at times, and everybody, it's habits, right? You get away from your core habits. And we saw that in Game 3 tonight. Their sticks 5-on-5 and shorthanded were just in the way all the time. And you, just because you don't tip a pass doesn't mean you didn't do your job. Because a lot of times if they're not passing it through, it means they don't think there's a passing lane. And that's what you want. Think back to game, was it 2 where Eichel was just zipping the puck off that half wall to the far side? Well, today we didn't see those. We didn't see those types of plays because I think they were tighter, more aggressive, and better stick play. So that's a big one. Got to get to the deep pairings. Start with Rishaug. They changed it up by bringing Stetcher in. Smaller player, but I think he is quicker than Emerson and a little more experienced. So he played with Nurse. Then he had the other 2 pairings as they'd been. So did you like the 3 pairings and how they basically rolled them out all night to the tune of Stetcher coming in just over 16 minutes?
Yeah, pretty unreal that Stetcher steps into the lineup. Now, I know they were playing with the lead, but still, I mean, those are, in a series where no lead is safe, you're not playing guys if you don't trust them defensively. So for him to step into this series and get that many minutes when the guy he replaced wasn't earning that, I think they have a lot of confidence in Troy Stetcher, and I think his best game can handle this series. It's not like it's a big, heavy, ridiculous series where he's physically going to get shoved out of. And they love his speed. They love his competitiveness. They love that he never gives up, and he can kill penalties a little bit too if he needs to. So Brownie, I mean, I thought it was a gutsy couple of lineup moves from Knobloch. I think less so with Stetcher. I think the Kapanen in, Arvidsson out is a gutsy call because Arvidsson did have some good looks at that fourth line. And I think bringing Stetcher in and mixing up all the pairings, that it's a gutsy thing to do, and I like it. It was bold.
Well, we saw last year that there was a lot of things that Knobloch would do, and it would shock all of us, but they all seemed to work out. I was shocked by Kapanen coming in for Arvidsson. I really was. Arvidsson was one game off of where he was one of the better players in the game in Game 2. His line was fantastic. So that one shocked me. Stetcher didn't. If Stetcher doesn't get hurt, Stetcher's playing ahead of Emberson in the playoffs. He would have played Game 83. He stole the job from Emberson down the stretch. He was their 6th defenseman, and then he got hurt, and that opened the door for Emberson. Emberson is not as fleet of foot as Stetcher is. Emberson he gets hit a lot, and the Vegas Golden Knights, when they get on the forecheck, he doesn't make the plays as quickly. Stetcher does all of those things well, and I thought Stetcher was excellent in this hockey game, and he has the trust of the coaching staff, and that is huge. When you're a 5'6" defenseman, if the coach trusts you, he's not afraid to put you out there in any situation. I don't see Stetcher coming out, barring injury. I think what we saw tonight is what the Oilers envisioned, and I think the injury to Stetcher only held this back a little bit until he was ready to play, and the Oilers had lost the game. They weren't going to change a winning lineup.
When I watched this game tonight, I saw the D moving the puck like they did in Game 1. They got back there quick. They moved it oftentimes D to D, and it was up, usually to the middle or just up the wall. But they were getting back and moving it quick, and Vegas wasn't able to get there in time to disrupt it. And now on the other end, Brownie highlighted it. I thought that D core was under pressure all night long, and it's nothing worse than going back to get to the puck, and you can't really get turned around. Now you're trying to make a play with your back facing the whole rest of the ice. Tough night. But Stetcher brings that speed that Emerson doesn't. And I think he makes his plays a little quicker and his reads a little quicker. He's more experienced, so I think it makes sense.
He's a game.
Last thing I want to get to in here, guys, and we'll start with you, Brownie, is Adin Hill. I thought he was distracted in the first period. Someone maybe reined him in after the first because he didn't really see it. And maybe the game changed tone a bit. But, as a teammate, I'm like, I like it that you're fiery, but I think he went over the line. He was too distracted and worried about kind of being Tony Toughnuts in his crease.
Well, I mean, it's because of him that Nicholas Haig had to fight. I mean, he's got everything all riled up, and it created a bunch of different situations. Yeah, if I'm a player, I want my goaltender to be the guy that is just calm, always looks under control. I don't want the fiery goaltender. I just don't. I want the guy that nothing bothers, because it became obvious that things were bothering Hill. Now, I give credit to Hill as the game moved on. He controlled his game, and I actually was all over him for the third goal, the Kane goal. Then I watched the replay, and that changed direction. And I'm like, okay, I take that back, because he did play better as the game went on. But you're right. If they show all the highlights, he was slashing guys, pushing guys. He was initiating a lot of the stuff. And to me, if I'm a player, my words to the goalie, just stop the puck. We'll do everything else. You just stop the puck. And because he was emotional and antsy, I bet you there were 5 or 6 times tonight where he screwed up plays behind the net trying to pass the puck. He put his defenseman in a couple really bad spots where they couldn't move the puck. They got run over. And I think he was so amped up that he got away from his game, and that's not a good thing, Schauger, for a goaltender when he gets away from his game, which is simple. Stop the puck.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to give a little bit of credit here, and I don't know if it bothered him or not. I'm going to give some credit here to the fans in the building. I thought there were a couple of really well-timed Adin chants where there was like no music playing. The building was otherwise quiet. And there was one time where they put him up on the big screen and he flashed a big smile right in the middle of it, which tells me he's hearing it and he wanted people to see him smiling like, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. But you guys know I don't complain about the refs almost ever. Basically, I never do. But I will say, and Adin Hill was part of this, that was a disaster in the first period. It was a train wreck from the refs in the first period. And the one call that Vegas got against them was bad too. So it kind of went both directions. But Adin Hill came out and was being ridiculous in the crease. And the refs let it go, and they let it go, and they let it go. And then Adin Hill stuck his foot out and then dove, drawing a penalty, and made the refs look stupid. And I guarantee you, when they got into the referee's room and watched that between periods, they were like, you've got to be kidding me. We could have given this guy 3 penalties in this period, and they gave him the benefit of the doubt, and then he goes and does that. So on the wrong side of it in a whole bunch of ways early on in that game was Adin Hill, and, got some of it back and finished better. But Struds, it was messy with the refs, and Hill was right in the middle of that.
Yeah, it was. And that I felt the same way about that trip on Janmark. The overreaction to, I thought, Kane. Yeah, and Brown, you're probably right. He probably did kind of give himself an extra push to get over him, but they were definitely targeting. Even when he cross-checked Hyman, is that a penalty? Maybe give him coincidentals, right? Just like you're trying to set the tone for the game. And I thought he was allowing the goalie, or they were allowing the goalie to have his way. But I like Stu Skinner's response at the other end. He was calm. Now, Vegas wasn't getting all over him. But if I'm Vegas, next game, I'm looking at getting into that blue paint a lot more. So Stu Skinner better be prepared. And that's where it brings us to our YouTube poll, brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. Golf season's here. Dust off those old clubs and get ready for the season. New grips, new driver, heck, a whole new set. DeBoer's Golf has you covered. Locally owned and operated, DeBoer's Golf has been in business for over 25 years, and they're ready to help you play better golf. Visit them on the corner of 53rd Ave and 99th Street, or at DeBoersGolf.com. Zuby, get in here, you old dog. What do you got for the poll tonight?
Hang on, I got to cover up the fellas here. I didn't have this shot. I'm going on the fly here. Lots of these shots. Don't know who's going to be at home, in the car, whatever. So my bad. We'll try not to show Shogger in the car when he's unsuspecting of it, but it's only momentarily. Okay, Brownie might have blown this poll up already, but we'll go with it anyway. So the question is, if Calvin Pickard, it's a double question here, so it's an A and B. So pay attention. If Pickard was healthy for Game 5, who would you start, and who do you think the team would start? So the choices are Skinner and Skinner. The next choice is Skinner and Pickard, Pickard and Skinner, or Pickard and Pickard. So who would you start if Pickard was healthy, and who do you think the team would start?
I like that one. I like that. Thoughts, boys? Brownie, we know where you're going. Shoggy?
Yeah, Skinner and Skinner.
Yeah.
You want me to talk, or did I freeze?
No, we'd love to hear from you, Ryan. You're always your opinion's always valued,
it was freezing up a little there. Thanks, buddy. I would say Skinner. And Skinner. I think a performance like that, a shutout. I think with Pickard, you can. I know his record has been really, really good, but he's just been injured. And so you can easily say you're giving him more time and you're going back to Stu. Give Calvin more than enough time to make sure that he's ready, and then just see what Skinner does. And I think when your starting goalie gets the net back for whatever reason and gives you a performance like that, I think you don't need to make excuses to keep running with him. So, yeah, I think it's Skinner and Skinner. What did you guys say?
Yeah, Brownie said the same thing. And for me, I've got Skinner and Skinner. He earned the net again tonight, right? It's unfortunate that Pickard got injured and he's unable to play. But when someone comes in and has a game like that, you roll with them. So he's rolling in there. But I'm telling you, they're going to be going after him in Vegas. I've already said it, but they're going to be in that blue paint all night long, and he's got to be ready. So, and I hope he doesn't even entertain what we saw from Adin Hill. I think it's distracting. And as an opposing team, I don't think that helps you or your team do it. Let your players deal with it. You don't have to be, Jordan Binnington chasing everybody around. That's how I feel. Let us take care of it. You don't have to do it.
Yeah. Hey, Brownie, would you keep the Draisaitl line together or no?
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Well,
you didn't like it, hey? What did you think? You just didn't like their performance tonight?
Well, you've got Leon playing with two fourth liners. One's a fourth liner, one's a fifth liner. No, I did not like it at all. I did not like it at all.
So even with the specific assignment that they had,
I could find someone that could score goals, that could play with Leon and also do well in that assignment.
Let's do this. Let me jump in here. Let's say that for our core adjustments, because that's one of my topics I have under there. What would you do with the lines next time? If that's okay, boys.
We also got a Knobloch clip too, talking about Draisaitl in that role as well. So we can roll that in core adjustments too. I like it. I'm getting home here, so I'll hop inside.
Yeah, hop in there. We'll do a scoreboard. One other game, obviously, and the scoreboard's brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new Canadian Club Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at an incredible 58%. Their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date is a full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish. As I mentioned, I watched one period of this bad boy, and I think when I checked off, I want to say it was 2-0 when I finally bailed out after, I think it was halfway through the second. Either way, it was a win for the Carolina Hurricanes. They now find themselves in a pretty comfortable position, like the Oilers, up 3-1 in the series. Taylor Hall, the former Oiler, had 2 points, 1 goal and assist. So did Sean Walker, the D-man. Not a lot going on in this. The hits, there's some decent amount of hits. There's some power plays for both teams. But Brownie, this series feels like, it feels like to me as I've watched it, that it doesn't even feel like Washington's even in this series. Carolina's just carrying the pace.
You know that
Go ahead,
series
buddy.
is, Strud?
Yeah.
That series is a reason to watch a Netflix show. That's what it is. It's 5 o'clock. You can turn on the Carolina-Washington series, or you can go watch Andor or Mobland and catch up on that before the Oilers game or the Leafs game starts. No, I mean, good on Carolina. I think they're going to move on to the Final Four for the first time. They play a style that allows them to shut down the opposition, but it is boring. It is boring. Very boring. And we are going to see them in the next round against either Florida or Toronto, and we'll see if their boring hockey can propel them to the Stanley Cup Finals.
It's hard to watch. It's not, but I mean, you know what? Who cares if it's hard to watch if you're winning, right? If you're on that team, you're like, let's just do it.
True.
We'll see what happens as they move forward. All right, let's jump out here when we come back. Brownie Point Studies World and the adjustments. That's next. Thanks for sticking with us tonight. It was a fun game. We're breaking down this Oilers 3-0 win over the Vegas Golden Knights.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
That music means only one thing, everybody. Time for Brownie Points. Brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky, the ultimate jerky haul. Hamel's has you covered 4 pounds of their mouth-watering jerky for $139 plus 5 free jerky flavored pepperoni sticks with your order. Free shipping Alberta-wide. That's a whole lot of premium protein-packed goodness. Perfect for road trips, the job site, or just being the snack hero at home. Visit albertajerky.com to order now. Brownie, what do you got for us today, big guy?
Well, let's start with 13 brownie points for number 19, Adam Henrique, who had his first multi-goal game in over 13 years in playoff hockey. And the second goal was a thing of beauty between the legs and top shelf. Not only did he have 2 goals, he was also 71.5% in the face-off circle. Henrique did not have the regular season that he had hoped for. He is certainly having the playoff series that the Oilers hoped for. I've got 100 to the most talked about player on social media today, Stuart Skinner, who stopped 100% of the shots he faced. He wasn't busy, but he made 2 big saves early, including a breakaway. And at least for one night, the Skinner haters will have to be quiet. I've got 31 brownie points to the Oilers. New Oilers inserted into the lineup tonight. Kapanen and Stetcher played 31 minutes tonight between them, and both were very good. Struds, you and I have been there before. You know when you're sitting in the press box watching your team, especially if it's a playoff game, you swear to yourself, if you ever get another chance to play in a game, you will play so hard and so good that they can't take you out. I think Stetcher and Kapanen made very big statements tonight towards that. I got 33 brownie points to the Oilers penalty killing unit as it was 3 for 3 tonight. The only way the Knights are getting back into this game was on their power play, and the Oilers penalty killing frustrated the Vegas Golden Knights power play all night long. When your power play players are frustrated, bleeds into their 5-on-5 game, and it did tonight as that was a very, very quiet night for both Stone and Eichel. And finally, the last one, I got 13 big brownie points to Evander Kane, the guy that missed 10 months of hockey. He, in just 13 minutes tonight, and Struddy's mentioned it, he had 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points. He was +3. He had 4 shots. He had 6 hits. Plus, he plowed over the goalie once and threw at least 14 punches that none of them, I don't believe, got him a penalty. Vegas tonight had no answer for Evander Kane. And those, my friends, are tonight's brownie points.
All right. That's good stuff. That was a nice long list, Brownie. That was a thorough edition of brownie points tonight. I'm sorry. Did you give any to Chris Knobloch? Was there some for Knobloch in there specifically, or no?
No, I was gonna take some away for some of his line combinations, but I'll wait for next game to do that.
Oh, buddy, I love it.
Leon called and asked me to take away some from Knobloch.
All right, good stuff. Struddy, any issue with any of those brownie points, or you feel like he was reasonably on point tonight?
No, it's just nice for Rico to get some acknowledgement for how great he's playing. So yeah, and he said that line was really good. He, Brown, and Kane. I mean, so responsible, fast, heavy. Like they got a bit of everything, right?
Yeah. Okay, that was brownie points brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Okay, let's get to Struddy's World. Zuby, roll the cartoon.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. Gotta look good.
All right, time for Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber House Developments, where if you can dream it, they can make it happen. A truly customized building experience. They got you covered. Every house is unique. Every customer is like family. See what you can dream up together. Contact timberhouse.ca. Struddy.
You know, I get it. You know, you get frustrated, and we've seen players run other people from behind or punch them in the head. You know, fight, you know, all these different things, say unkind words to them in a moment of passion. But I believe there are some things that are sacred in the league that should never be done. And that number one of those is touching the referee or a linesman. Last night in the game between Dallas and the Winnipeg Jets, Mason Marchment, a good player and seemed like a reasonable guy, got hit in a way he didn't like. As he was skating off, he gave a bit of a light tap onto the shin pads of the referee, and there was no penalty. There's going to be no subsequent, fine or suspension for that. And I think this is a slippery slope now that the league is opened. Not that many people manhandle or touch the referees or linesmen, but you should never, ever touch one, whether you're in the NHL men's league or you're playing half ice hockey at Terwilliger Arena. You can't touch refs. So I really didn't like this by Mason Marchment. I hope that he apologized. I'm guessing he did. Again, it wasn't a terrible slash, but guys, it doesn't matter. You cannot put your hands on the ref or linesman at all. And that was no doubt intentional, and there was no one else around. You can't say he was trying to swing for anyone else. Disappointed in the league's reaction to not defend their refs.
Brownie?
You know, it's funny, Strud, and I agree 100%. And to me, no, you can't touch a ref. And it's funny, whenever I watch a soccer game, and I watch, you know, the emotional, and someone gets a card, and then everyone gets in the ref's face, and then you'll see the players on the team like grabbing the ref's arm or grabbing his shirt and pulling him close. And I'm always like shocked watching, and I'm like, you never imagine if a guy does that in a hockey game, what would happen? So yeah, I was a little surprised. You know what? If the referee in the game decided, you know what, I'm going to let this go. I'm going to have a conversation with Marchment afterwards, or at its timeout, and explain to him that's not acceptable. That's fine. But I do believe the league should have stepped in and there should have been a fine. You've got to send a message to everybody that that is not acceptable. The ref might have let it go because of in the heat of the moment, but it's got to be stated by the NHL, this is not right. You cannot do this. You don't need a suspension, but they've got to make a statement. There should have been a fine, and I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I agree too. Zuby, do you remember what Dregs reported on the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast today?
that Marchment did, in fact, apologize at a certain point. And the referee decided not to put it in his report after the game.
He said, that Dregs reported that he apologized during the game and that the ref's reaction was kind of acted like, he didn't even notice. I didn't even notice that was a player. Sort of that was his reaction to it. So he seemed pretty even keel about it.
Yeah, and I think the issue is if the ref's not going to put it in his post-game report and they write reports after the game, then I don't know if you can even fine him if it's not making the referees. I don't know exactly the way the rules work, but I think it's up to that ref to kind of make the call whether he wants to make a thing of it or not. The one thing I would ask you guys, like that whole 10 games automatically? I mean, do you maybe want to leave a little bit of room for some gray area there where you could maybe give a guy 2 games for something like a little tap as opposed to other stuff we see? Like, why has it got to be automatic 10, Struddy? Kind of doesn't allow you much nuance.
Is there a different level for murder? Murder is either you kill someone or you don't kill them. Like I know I'm being serious. Like I know it's a bit of an exaggeration, but Shogger, like you can't touch the ref. You don't touch them. So whether it was intentional or not, or like you can't have a gray area for something we don't want. Like, is there a gray area for hits to the head? You hit to the head, you get it. So I'm really passionate about this because young kids see that, and not to be too dramatic, but they see a guy slashing a ref. You can't do that. You can never touch a ref. So no, there should be no gray area because you shouldn't have to wonder if you can do that or not. You can't do it. So yeah, I would have tossed him and give him the 10 games. He did it. No one else did it to him. I have no tolerance for this, guys. None.
This is good. It really pains me to say this. It really, really pains me to say this, but I agree with Shogger on this. I think there should be gray area. I know.
Here we go.
Why is that pain you? What's painful about that?
It's one thing to slew foot a referee on purpose out of face-off, and another one to tap him on the leg. I think there should have been a response by the NHL, but I don't think that what he did was worth 10 games. I think it's worth a slap on the wrist and a $7,000 fine or something along that line. That's not 10 games. And I do appreciate the way the ref handled it. And the ref knew that he tapped on the pads. He may pretend he didn't. He knew it. And he's like, okay, I may have missed the call earlier. I'm going to let this slide. We'll have a conversation, and it'll be the end of it. So I respect the referee. I think the NHL should have got involved with a fine, but I do believe there is gray area. I think there's gray area in everything. And I certainly do in this too.
Stephen Petruk says, agree, Struddy. Sorry, is that the same? Oh, there it is. Yeah, good call, Zuby. We're on the same wavelength. As someone that reffed minor hockey for many years, what kids see on the TV, they do on the ice. And then when you write them up, they're stunned. Well, this was fine in the NHL, they think. Nice comment there. The problem is the refs are too inconsistent. How do you define the degree, says Allison Miller. Allison Miller actually also said, well, yeah, actually there are different degrees of murder, Struddy. So you asked that question, are there different degrees of, yeah, there's literally first, second, and third that we hear on Law and Order all the time. But I take your point. You make a good point, and you may have swayed me there. It should be, I agree with you. It just needs to be a no-fly zone completely. But I mean, hey, there's a lot of things going on right now that are kind of like, I would have thought running a guy from behind with no time left on the clock, throwing him, shoulder first into the boards might have been worthy of a suspension too, or dummying a guy in the orbital bone when he's down on the ice on his back. Like Dops is a mess right now. It's a mess, Struds.
It tells me that they like a little bit of anger in their games.
Sure. Yeah.
That's I
don't know.
I truly believe that was it.
This is a great comment. Lauren the Alchemist says Strudwick was pre-med, not pre-law.
As he's always willing to tell us all. Brownie, you want to stick around for core adjustments so we can argue about Draisaitl and Kapanen, or have you had enough? You want to go?
Well, I can argue with you if you want. Well, here, I will go, but here's what I'll throw in the core adjustments. Okay. You said that Leon's line shut down Jack Eichel's line today, and you're going to stand by that, right?
Yeah, they were hard matched against him, and they didn't give anything up.
Okay. So, okay. And do you think the Vegas Golden Knights noticed that too?
Of course they did.
So do you think that when Leon and Kapanen and Podkolzin come out on the ice in Vegas, do you think Bruce Cassidy's going to play Eichel's line against them?
Yeah, really fair point. Like, it might not work as well on the road, and it's a tougher matchup to get. So that's more than fair.
Then,
doesn't diminish what they accomplished tonight, though.
Yes. And they were good tonight. But in that case, no, I don't have Leon playing with Kapanen and Podkolzin, because now they're going to need some offense out of Leon on the road, and I don't think you're getting offense out of Podkolzin and Kapanen.
I think that's a more than fair point to make. Hey, Struds?
Yeah, it's well thought out. And I actually, this would be my suggestion. I would start as they are now, but have fallback lines right away, depending on what Vegas is doing.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Zuby, just throw up the HSE core right now, and I'll do the ad read at the end, because we're basically into it already here.
Oh.
So we're into our HSE core adjustments. Oh, we lost Brownie.
He's still here. He's still here.
Yeah.
I'm still
for
here.
sure. So Struds, sorry, clarify that, Struds. Have fallback lines? I mean, don't they always have fallback plans?
Yeah, no, but just be honest with the guys. Say, guys, we're going to start with these lines, and we're going to look where the matchups are and what they're trying to do, and then we can always tweak them, at some point. The problem is that by tweaking Leon's line, you're essentially rejigging every line to get him some wingers that can score. Because, I mean, I'm trying to look at this lineup.
No. You are not touching Henrique's line. Do not touch that line. That line is
who's
good.
Scoring? Who's scoring with him?
Was Connor, Leon, and Nugent Hopkins, Connor, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman. Did you notice that line much tonight?
Yeah.
Did they create a whole lot?
I wouldn't say they not. I'd say this. I expected more offense from them. How about that?
So did I. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. I would not be opposed to putting Leon and Connor back together in Vegas.
Okay.
Interesting.
So can we get, because a lot of people maybe you just answered this, Brownie, but if you want to be super clear, a bunch of people have been asking in follow up to this statement is, who do you want with Leon? Is that the answer? Back to the same lines as 1 and 2?
Put Perry back there?
With Connor, Leon, put Perry back there, then have Nugent Hopkins with Hyman, and then you can make your decision who you want with those two. But I wouldn't touch Henrique's line. That line was fantastic tonight. You don't touch that line at all. So Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, and then you can go put Coles in there. You can go Janmark there. You can go Kapanen in there if you want. But I would put Connor and Leon together in Vegas and say, here's our best. See what you can do against them, and keep Henrique together with his line mates.
Mm-hmm. I mean, those two were together for the first couple of games that they won in Vegas.
Yeah.
So that is, that was the winning formula there. I like that, Brownie. That's some good thinking.
Yeah.
Thank you, Schauger. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you can go out on a high note, buddy. Drop your microphone and off you go. Actually, Brownie, one last thing before you go. I want you to hear Chris Knobloch in the Weiss Johnson Soundbox talking about the decision-making process of putting Draisaitl on that line and giving him that defensive assignment tonight. Zuby.
Leon's a very proud guy. He wants to be the best guy on the ice, and if he's got a matchup, and not too often Rocket Richard trophy winners, Hart trophy winners take a challenge of a shutdown role, and his defensive details were really good tonight. He bought into that, and he checked him well, but also he can also score too.
That is excellent strategic coaching with a star player, that he knew what he needed more from him over. Brownie, I'll give you the last word.
100%, but I think Leon could have done that with wingers that could score too. I think Leon can shut down Jack Eichel with having Arvidsson and Nugent Hopkins or anybody. Leon is that good a hockey player. He didn't need a fourth line player and a fifth line player to be able to accomplish that.
All right. Great points as always, Brownie. Awesome job on the show tonight, buddy. We'll chat after Game 5.
All right. Night, guys.
All right, take care, my friend. That is Robbie Brown hopping out here on Got Your Back. And that was our core adjustment segment brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, they have your back when it comes to health and safety compliance, from creating and managing a tailored health and safety program meeting all legislation and core requirements. HSE supports operations of their clients every step of the way. Check them out online, www.hsecor.com. Okay, when we come back, we got to Ask Us Anything. We're going to take a lap, see what else is going on out there. We're still like this show, Struds, 12:41 a.m., 1,200 people live on that's just YouTube. Never mind over on X. What a spectacular audience we have, and we love you. Thank you so much. Send us your questions in to Ask Us Anything. We got that coming up, and lots more. Our play of the day as well. You've got her dialed in to Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
If you're considering a vinyl fence, don't be fooled by cheap marketplace imitations. Get top quality vinyl fence from a trusted company with 20 years in the industry. With locations in Calgary and Edmonton, check out dlrvinylproducts.ca.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit belvederegcc.com today.
Zachary Hohen says, I migrated back over from Twitch. I got lonely. Yeah, we're live on Twitch too, but Zuby, I feel like the numbers on Twitch are underwhelming still in season 4.
They are. It's still single digits, but sometimes it's been none, 1 or 2. So occasionally when the show starts, we'll have 3 or 4 people commenting on Twitch, and I can reply from my chat in the control panel directly to Twitch, which I normally do. I try to always acknowledge and give those folks some love, but it was quiet tonight.
Can we get a sound effect if we get to double digit on Twitch? Can we get a special? Will we play the thing if we get to double digits over there?
I love that idea, but I have no way to monitor the actual. Well, I guess I could. I could open up. I have to open up a whole nother browser window.
All right.
Maybe I'll find a way. We'll try it. We'll see if we can get to. If we get 10 on Twitch, we'll get a special sound effect.
Love it. Well, if we can't do that, at least hit the thumbs up button for us. It was pointed out that here we are with, upwards of 1,000 plus people after midnight and only 300 and some likes. So let's crank that up if you can. If you don't mind, we would appreciate that. Let's get to Taking a Lap, brought to you by Acon. If you're a skilled tradesperson or construction professional and you're looking for work in Western Canada, they want to hear from you. Trades@acon.com is where you send your resume. That is trades@acon.com, looking for skilled tradespeople and construction professionals, one of Canada's original industrial contractors. That is trades@acon.com for your resume. Struddy, where are we going tonight, buddy?
I'm no insider, so when I hear something or see something come across that is reported as true, I'm blown away by Ken Holland reportedly going to become the next GM of the Los Angeles Kings. Blown away. I did not know this. I did not hear it. I heard maybe some other teams, but not that team. So a team he knows well, because he's played against them, coached or GM'd against them many times, and in a division that is mainly kind of dominated by 3 teams, I'm suspecting moving forward. Ken Holland could be there. Yeah, I think this is a great move by the Kings. I look at what he did with the Edmonton Oilers. He made some choices. You look at some of the players that are added, and we're sitting out tonight by the new regime. Quite a bit of cash sitting out watching the game tonight. So interesting, Oilers fans. This is going to get very interesting because he knows the Oilers, and that's dangerous, I think, for the Oilers.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he did a good job. I mean, he made some good moves and did some good things. I think he's still got the fire in his belly. He's got tons of experience. I wonder what their drafting and developing will look like in that time. I wonder if they'll take a step, which direction they might take a step on that front. But yeah, I mean, hey, he's still passionate about it, and he's been around a long time. He's a Hall of Famer. Great that he's in the league. Yeah, it's an interesting decision. Do you think it means he goes to Woody as coach?
Oh, I don't know. I'll be floored if they're still play the same way. That team's too talented to sit back. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to me at all. So that'd be the first thing I do. This is how we're playing now. Nope. Okay. Boom. You're out. I wouldn't.
Do you think he'd hire Jay Woodcroft? You wondered about a coaching change there, right? I don't know.
Well, I think there'll be a coaching change there. There should have been, but I'm not sure. Do I think there's going to be a coaching change with Jay? I think Jay would have a chance to interview, but I'm looking for someone who's aggressive and who plays and skates, because that team, they can win right now. And your point about the drafting and developing is a good one, and I'm always looking at that. But this is a good team. I believe Vegas or Kings are a good team now, right now. And so you got to try to win right now.
That'd be a little weird to turn around and hire the coach you fired at the last team you were both together. That'd be a little odd, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think Jay's a capable coach. And I think he'll be a type of guy that'll go back and revisit all the decisions he made and how he coached, and he'll be better the second time around. Not that he was bad the first time around.
Yeah. Interesting. And by the way, credit to Rod Peterson on that. So Rod Peterson, back when the Oilers hired Ken Holland, like 3 weeks before anybody else had it, tweeted, sounds like Rod Peterson will be the next general manager of the Oilers. This flew in the face of all of our information. Everything else we had heard, everything else. And so I basically just tweeted and said, hadn't heard this. But, whatever. I sort of refuted it a little bit. And then he was dead. He was dead nuts. He was bang on. And so I retweeted his original tweet when they hired Ken Holland and said, mad respect to Rod Peterson, who had this weeks ago. So Rod Peterson owns the Ken Holland file, Struddy. He is the Ken Holland insider if he's nailed this one too.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what happens, how this plays out. There's lots of hockey hope for the Oilers now, but the Kings are rolling up, trying to get up to it again. $5,000. That's all it costs to just bury the other team's captain from behind at the buzzer. $5,000. That's worth it. That's a max fine you can give out. And Max Domi earned that for running Barkov from behind. That's worth it. I would do it all the time. You get to the end of the game, you're not winning. Bang, right from behind, $5,000. That's worth it. That's nothing to get under someone else's skin. So obviously not suspension worthy. And to your point earlier, there's been some interesting no calls, but I believe the NHL likes the drama. I truly believe that, because it does make the games more interesting.
I mean, like the drama, I don't know. You can like the drama and still do a decent job protecting your players. I mean, this goes back to, and we have been consistent through 4 seasons of this show, Struds. The league does a shit job of hitting from behind. They do. They always have. They do. They don't take it seriously enough. You cannot run a guy and dummy him in the numbers 5 feet from the boards. They need to recognize that's one of the most dangerous plays that exists in the sport, and just have way less tolerance for it. And I'm dumbfounded constantly with the way they treat hitting from behind in this league.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of hitting from behind either, and I think it needs to be dealt with more severe. But listen, I think that it has to have everyone on board. Like the hits to the head, it seemed like everyone came on board and they all decided, right? Even look at the D-man not getting injured anymore because no tag up rules. So everyone's got to get on board to have it happen. And it hasn't happened. So you get away with $5,000 for hitting from behind on another team's captain at the end of the game when you're supposed to not be doing this stuff.
Yeah.
What a deal.
So bad.
What a deal.
So bad. All right, that was Taking a Lap, brought to you by our good friends over at Acon. Zuby, should we wrap up the poll, my friend? You want to hop in here, bud?
Oh, yeah, I got to do that. Let me hit that button.
Yeah, let's do that.
And then I'll hop in here, find that button. Here I am.
Okay, good. You got her dialed?
I do. Yeah, so the question tonight was, if Pickard was healthy for Game 5, who would you start? And who do you think the team would start? And hey, some love for Mr. Stu Skinner, as Skinner runs away with it at 71%. 11% say Pickard Skinner, so they still think they would start Pickard if he were ready. 11% of the folks, but think the team would go with Skinner. Skinner Pickard, the reverse, 9%. Pickard, only 7%. So lots of love for Stu on the stream tonight, and rightfully so, I think.
All right, lots of reporting in the market. Dregs had some reports earlier today thinking it would be upwards of a week. Nielsen tweeted some stuff today, too, about some scans and imaging that he had done. Feels like, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be an option if this goes 7 games or not. But Stu Skinner threw down a gauntlet today and grabbed the net back, and good on him. Let's get to our Ask Us Anything segment, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria, the Bank of Canada. Well, keep an eye on those rates, right? The spring real estate market heating up as well. So now's the perfect time to talk to an experienced mortgage specialist. Maria Gallus with Maximal Mortgages offers us access to several lenders and a wide range of options, far more than what your bank can provide. Don't just settle for your bank's offer. Contact Maria today, mortgagesbymaria.ca. Zuby?
Yeah, some interesting stuff here tonight. Not all specific to this evening's game, but relevant. Maddie Redpants says, hey Zuby, can you ask the panel about McDavid's shooting percentage? It's half of his regular season normal. Why aren't they going in? And he had sent me a message, actually I have here. I think he said, this was game specific, but he said it's a single digit percentage and he's normally 15%. And he added, are you concerned? So why aren't they going in, and are you concerned? Struddy?
Well, it's pretty small, right? We're not talking about 50 games, so it's a pretty small sample size. I think the other teams are really trying to cue in on him. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think back tonight. Did he have any great chances tonight? You know, he had the one kind of half breakaway where he just kind of laid it in there with a one-handed backhand. Like, that's not going in. So, you know, I don't know that he's getting as many opportunities, maybe in this series specifically, that he has, especially game 2, 3, and 4, Shaggy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are still times where McDavid, in the first 2 periods of games, when they aren't in desperation mode, is making passes in the slot where you'd love to see him like ripping the puck as hard as he can in his highest percentage shooting spots. And I think we still see McDavid pass off in some of those highest percentage shooting spots. But he's such a brilliant playmaker. And the team rattled off 6 games in a row. So, I mean, would it be ideal if he had more goals than he has? Sure. But he's piling up the points. So I'd like to see him uncork it, Struds, from some of the prime areas a little bit more than he is. But that's, again, tough to criticize him with his points total here and the results that the team has gotten.
All right, I don't have a specific question I'm going to bring up here, but this one's for Noel Rinsky, who I know feels like he's taking crazy pills tonight, because there was a suggestion going through the chat that maybe if we're not really sure about Leon's condition, or that he doesn't seem to be contributing as much offensively right now, that maybe he should be moved to the second power play unit to see if there's something that could be done to generate more with PP1. Is Noel Rinsky taking crazy pills or not, Chugger?
Yeah, fire that idea into the sun. Let's never even talk about it again. It's insane. And we love Noel Rinsky. We love him. He's an amazing contributor.
He's the one who thinks it's crazy that people are suggesting that. He's with you.
It's completely insane. Fire that idea into the sun.
Show me the team that would take off their leading goal scorer off the power play and I'll show you a team that's losing. I can't even imagine people are suggesting that. So hard no. Hard no.
Yeah. And you know what? I might take some brownie points away from you, Zuby, for bringing that up on the air.
I'm trying to help out our friend Noel, because I know
you're trying to help out Noel.
Because if you see his, that's like the gist of what he's been defending all night. Is like, you guys can't be serious about this. So that's for Noel.
All
He's
right.
a friend of the show. But I mean, it's all good. Okay. Buddy Hope and among others pointing out they feel like Pietrangelo is not looking great and continues to take a beating out there. They even had a montage sort of him taking hits and getting hit with pucks. What have you thought about his game? Is he diminished, and is that because of his illness, or is it because of the game the Oilers have been playing against him, Struddy?
I think they're targeting him. I think that, you look back, well, tonight for sure. I mean, there was a number of thunderous hits against him. Nuge hits him with a shot. That's not obviously intentional, but he does hit him with a shot. That it just all adds up. And I can't tell you it's the 8th hit or the 12th hit or the 3rd hit, but all together, it just starts to grind you down. And going back isn't as much fun for the pucks, knowing you're going to get hit. So they're wearing him down and are doing a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, they sense that there's a player that, he started the series ill. He's had a long year. So I think they sense some weakness there, and they've been punishing him. They've been targeting him, and they've been punishing him, and I think it has affected his play. Zach Hyman has just been an absolute beast when it comes to to being physical and hitting. Is he? I'm just checking right now. Yeah, he's leading the playoffs. Does this include tonight? 9 games. So no, it doesn't include tonight. 61 hits coming into tonight. In his 9 games. And I would imagine Petrangelo's been on the receiving end of a pile of those Struds.
Oh, crazy. But that's why, we talked about Chager, and we challenged you about the hitting and all that. I do think that the team had the governor on all through the regular season. And they also didn't have Kane in the lineup. And now guys are all throwing hits. And even to the point of blocking shots. I didn't really bring it up earlier, but when you see Connor McDavid bending the knee, blocking a shot, that is everyone's buying in because we don't see a lot of him blocking the shots in the regular season.
Yeah, I don't really know what to think about this hit thing too, Struds, because we were on it all year. I was all over it all year where, the assertion was they don't need to be leading the league in hits because they have the puck too much for that, for sure. Just don't be last. Like, don't be the easiest team in the league to play against. Like, just ask a little bit more from everybody. Right, that's all I wanted, just to up the competitiveness a little bit, and now here they are in the playoffs, and they're hitting more because it's playoff time, and I guess that's what happens. But I kind of don't know what to make of it because they're doing it and they're getting good results. So you could say, well, had they done that more during the regular season, maybe they would have got better results on more nights. But you make a great point that, well, you can't necessarily do that during the regular season. You got to save that a little bit. So I don't really know if I won or lost this whole thing. I still firmly believe what I was saying before, but I don't know what proof we're being given here. What do you think?
Well, I was pretty clear all year. I think that they were saving themselves for the playoffs physically, the physical hitting, because they don't want to have injuries, anything nagging in. So I think they've done that, and I think that's something they need to do is close this series out quickly so they can rest again, right? Or not again, for the first time. Think about last year. That was a slog. They had tough series after tough series. Everything was a battle. Maybe not the first one, with all due respect to the Kings, but I think they want to try to wrap this up right away so they can rest up again and have more energy for the next series and the next one after that. But I always felt that the physicality was there because we've seen this team do it. But they just were choosing not to do it in the regular season. And they're missing Ekholm, who's also a fairly big playoff warrior.
Yeah, for sure. Bron Solo says you lost, Chager. Okay, we'll give Bron Solo the final word on that season-long debate.
Honey.
Yeah.
Bronster.
Shutting it down. Okay. Mike Smith says, this is probably more for you to answer, Chager, but a lighthearted Ask Us Anything, truly, in private, fly on the wall, do you think Bettman and the NHL brass would actually hate an all-Canadian Stanley Cup final? That's people people talk that way. They speculate. Do you think is there anything to suggest that it would mean less revenue for the league, or would just potentially dip American TV ratings?
Yeah, I mean, look, they just got their Canadian TV rights deal done, and it's a big dollar, and so that deal is locked up and done. So, in their heart of hearts, would they like to see big market U.S. teams, on big U.S. television networks down there with huge markets going toe-to-toe? For sure. They're in charge of running the business aspect of it. Is it better for the business aspect of it? For sure. But any conspiracy ideas, any idea that anything is done differently, ref differently, angled differently, all of that is ridiculous talk. It's ridiculous talk. But of course they have fiscally some preferences here, Struds. It's just business.
Yeah, I mean, but you also don't want to see Minnesota against Carolina. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's what you don't want to see. So I think that actually would be good for the Canadians for two Canadian teams to be in the final. And I recognize the U.S. might not play well, but you're going to have stars. You're going to have lots of stars if that's happening.
God.
Oh, wow.
So I think you're selling the game. You want your best players in it. But I actually hate hockey conspiracy theories. When I see people saying that Gary Bettman hates the Oilers, or he loves Vegas, or he hates this, or hates,
reffing stuff and blah.
If
you are one who has partaken in that, shame. I think it's ridiculous, Struds.
But I get it. Fans love to sit around and talk. I get it. That's what it is. But I don't engage in it. I can't take it. I really find it annoying. I played in the league a long time. I didn't once feel like I was being screwed by Gary Bettman. Not one time. And even looking back in the locker room 4 or 5, he was right and we were wrong. So I apologize, Gary.
Wow.
That is lovely for you to extend that olive branch here to only 20 years later.
Very happy.
Here's a good one from Dallas Scarlet. Do you think Vegas tries to take their revenge on Skinner in Game 5? Revenge meaning crashing the net more. We only have one, quote, NHL goalie left, so if Skinner gets hurt, we do have a tough hole to fill. Do you expect they'll at least make a point of getting into the crease a little bit more in Game 5, Struddy?
100%. I think they're going to get it on the Oilers D way harder than they did. We've seen it previously in the games in Vegas. And then... or actually Game 3, I should say, that was in Edmonton. But I believe that they will get to the blue paint like the Oilers did tonight. I firmly believe. You're not trying to hurt the goalie. You're trying to make his life uncomfortable. And it's ironic that really Corey Berry didn't really do it tonight, which of all the guys, he didn't do it.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say, Struds, during these playoff series, what happens after every game is there's a meeting. There's a meeting with the officiating supervisor and representatives from both teams, and we all know what they're going to be talking about after this game. So it's going to be stated. Enough garbage with the goaltenders. We're going to be paying attention to it. So I don't think the same standard is going to be applied in terms of what is let go. I think both teams will be put on notice that a repeat of this probably isn't going to be tolerated. And sometimes that can affect, I think they'll be careful not to take bad penalties because this will be discussed.
Travis Farquharson pointing out Evan Bouchard is +7 in 4 games this series. That's nuts. We haven't said his name as much because he hasn't been scoring, but we luckily have, fortunately, I guess, haven't been saying it as much on the other side of things. What do you think of number 2's game, Shogger?
Well, there's a turning point here, Struds, in these playoffs. And for me, it was, it was when they looked at him and said, okay, we believe you can kill penalties. Like, we believe that you have the defensive acumen and we can trust you and we want to give you this responsibility. And they leaned into Evan Bouchard for killing penalties. And I just think that his defensive game has been a lot better than it was earlier on in the playoffs. I think he's flourished with more responsibility and more opportunity, Struds. So, yeah, I think he's been really steady.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, and Boucher's numbers are always good. Like away, when you look at the analytics, he's always in good place. It's just that the huge mistakes are the ones that they just look worse because they happen. and they're so big. So if you make 9 good plays and your 10th one is just an absolute bomb, everyone, oh my God, this guy can't play D. And I've been guilty of that as well, but he hasn't had those in these playoffs. And so it's steady. It's much, steady production without those big bombs. And I think that's just calms all the discussion around him.
Yeah. What do you got, Zuby? One left? Two left? What do you
last
got?
one, and then a couple of short comments. Kamikaze Rob saying, did Frederick's fight do anything to build relationships with his teammates? I mean, that might be a little bit broad, but I believe it's his first fight, right, with the team. He had? What does that mean in that moment, Struddy? Is it a big deal?
Well, yeah, I mean, you feel good about it. I mean, when you're a guy that does fight, you want to be able to stand up for your teammates and get in there. And that's what he did. And that's part of his job, is to be heavy and to take on fights and take on a big guy like that. I thought it went really well. I really liked the way that it went. And his teammates would appreciate it. Like, there'd be a lot of, tapping, good job, way to work, and all that stuff. So it was a nice timed fight, because he is not playing a ton of minutes right now, and Haig is a little bit heavier in the minutes. So it was good exchange.
That's a big boy he took on, and teammates will recognize the bravery that takes, and good for him. Yeah, definitely earned some brownie points from his teammates, that's for sure.
And like I said, that one in the chat earlier, I said that was like a Rocky fight. That was like all bombs, no defense. That was good stuff. Okay, a couple of kind of fun things here. Allison Miller, we might have said this before, Struddy, but Allison Miller wants to know what brand of lavender tea you're drinking, or do you drink? Her doctor told her she needs to drink less coffee.
Yeah, no, and I would advise that for sure. I don't know the brand. Someone gave me, people know if it's like my birthday, they'll give me a bag of tea. So they go to some place and get a loose leaf. So it's a loose leaf brand. And I'm sorry, I don't know it off by heart. I think I go to a Taste of Tea, it's called, or Acquired Taste, maybe I go to. They've got really good teas.
And they don't have coffee, right? Because they're a tea shop.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct. Everyone knows that's how it works.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it. Okay, this is, I might catch you guys off guard here, because this is super random, which I love. Evil Twin asks, what's the best sausage with cheese, pickles, and crackers? So let's just say let's put it this way to maybe... What's your favorite meat on a charcuterie board?
Hamel's Premium Jerky.
Yeah, I'm anything spicy.
Spicy Struds?
Yeah, anything spicy. Yeah. I mean, there's no bad meat, though.
I like that Landjager stuff. It's kind of chewy. I like that if you get a good one fresh from the deli. And I'm also I'd be a big prosciutto guy, too. Prosciutto is just fabulous. The best stuff.
Nice. Anyway, all right. Great finish.
Yeah, we're going out on a high note more than once tonight.
Yeah, dropping the mic on this segment as well. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. Okay, time for our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience, providing modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact gallerydentalYEG.com. Brownie just texted me and said, I changed my mind, Shogger. Play of the day is Knobloch's decision to put that dry side of line together and go head-to-head against Ethical. So that Brownie just texted that in late. Yeah, I kid. What do you got, Struts?
My play of the day were the Oilers fans just ripping on Adin. Like it was relentless. And I love that. I think it's so good. And they cheer when he makes a save. Like, I don't know whether it affects the other goalie or not. Who cares? It affects your team, and it gets your group fired up and brings energy and noise to the building that's already really loud. So, Oilers fans, I know if you weren't there, I'm sure people were chanting in their homes. You absolutely killed it tonight with that energy and the Adin. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
All right. That'll wrap up the show. That was our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. We're wrapping up the show. The music's playing. Still over 1,000 people on YouTube. Woo! 2 claps and a yippity-yip. Yippity-yip for everybody on the stream tonight, Struds. Do it.
Thank you for all of our... We love it. We love that you all tune in, but that's not how you say 2 claps and a woo. I refuse to engage in that.
Okay. Well, 2 claps and a woo from Struddy.
He rejects your yippity-yip.
Here's 2 thoughts as we depart. Stu Skinner. There were a lot of people who felt it was like season over. It's always all or nothing with Oiler goaltending.
It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be doom and gloom, all or nothing all the time. Skinner showed a lot of people tonight the level of game that he's got left. The other thought, the last 2 times the Edmonton Oilers have played a game of this quality, they have big time spit the bit in their next game. A couple of their weakest games of the playoffs have been coming off of strong performances like this. Can they put together back-to-back solid defensive performances? That's the challenge as they head to Vegas for game number 5. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Strud, Zuby, awesome job tonight, man.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
All right. See you, everybody. We'll chat in a couple of days.
Don't forget Struddy's World, too, Wednesdays at noon.
Oh, yeah. Wednesdays, 12 to 1. All our YouTube channels and over on Twitch.
Oh, we're huge on Twitch.